Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in the last tutorial we discussed about FlutterFlow. So we will try to revise some points and we will go ahead with the static app development. Basically what we can say in the FlutterFlow, it is a low code platform, means without writing extensive coding. I'm saying it is a low code, not a no code platform. So you have to understand the basic logics. You don't need to be an expert in development or programming, but like a basic coding knowledge is required over here. With FlutterFlow, you can develop any application like iOS, Android, and web applications. So it comes with some dashboard, and it has some drag and drop interface where we can drag some elements, and if we run the button, you will be able to see the output on the browser only. So in the first example, we saw like how the static page or the static elements were displayed when we run the application in the dashboard of the FlutterFlow. So today we will try to see some dynamic example, like if the user clicks on a button, how it is going to behave, how it is going to interact with the user click or user events. So we will develop an example like counter example or a counter app. If user clicks on plus, the counter value should increment, and if the user clicks on minus, decrement, then the user value, the initial value which the user has given, it should be decremented. So this is a dynamic example where on click of user, or if the user performs any action, it behaves accordingly. So that thing we will try to achieve in this lecture. Okay, let's start. So this is create new. Here we have to give the name of project. I will write counter app. Let's try to create blank. Okay, so counter app is the name of project. These are the default things which is coming, and let's disable other things which is not required. We will do the start building. So let's see, this comes with some elements which are required. So now this is the sample page which is having the navigation bar, and it has the default page title, like the page title is there as a text in the navigation bar. So if you want to change this, you have to click over here, and there is a text. We have to change it. Whatever you want, you can give counter app. Okay, and now if you have to add anything onto this page, there is a tree. What is this widget tree? So you can hover on these elements and check what is the what are all these icons. So you have to hover and check the widget tree. You can click on it, and as I said that we will create a counter application. Means there should be a initial value, and there should be a plus button, minus button. So let's try to add a text. So it will be a text like counter and 0. Okay, this value will be incremented when the user will click on plus or minus. So let's try to align this. See, the alignment part also we can revise on this also. You have to click over here, and this is okay. See, you can see on this part it is changing. Okay, and this is the text. Now we have to add the increment and decrement button. So again you have to go over here if it is already highlighted, and on the column you have to click on plus. We will see button. On this button we have to change the title. So the button text is on here. We have to click like increment, or you can write plus. This is the plus button, and again we have to add one more button for decrement. So this is a button. I will change this value text as decrement. Okay, let's try to do some padding for this also. Okay, so this is the static part. Now if you try to run this, you will just get like counter, increment, decrement. So these are the static part of the application. Now what we are going to do further in the advanced step of this application is like we have to do some operations on click of increment. Generally in the programming we have to like write function on click of this button, and what the function is going to perform. Now we will see how, without writing a single line of code, how are we going to achieve this. this is still running. Initially it takes some time. Okay. So you can see this is the static application where we can see the text and two buttons. Now if I click on increment, nothing is happening. If I click on decrement, nothing is happening. So now our next task is to do a dynamic part of this application. So what we need first thing is the variable. Why we need a variable? Because we have to do the operations on click of plus or minus. So there will be a variable, and that variable in FlutterFlow is nothing but a app value. Okay, now let's try to add a variable. So we need to add a variable for the dynamic part of this application. So see, this is the static one, counter colon 0. This one is static. So now instead of 0, we have to mention some variable, because on click of increment that variable should be incremented, not this static 0. So how to add any variable? We have app values. So you can check, you can hover on this icon and check which one is the app value. So this one is app value. So we have to add a new app state variable. I can write any name. So okay, so this is the counter value or counter variable, whatever name which suits you. Okay, see, these are the field types, means similar to data types. So basically there are four main data types. You can see, like integer, it is for a number, whole number, like 1 2 3, and normal numbers. And if you want decimal numbers, it comes under double. So string, which is like in quotes, and boolean is true false. So these four variables are these four data types are mostly used in the application for dynamic app creation. So for we can use integer, and we don't have to enable this part, because this list means it is similar to array. It will create a list of values, and persisted means the value will be remembered. Like the storage part, for that if we need, we have to mention is persisted, we have to make it true. But as of now we will disable this, and we will create. So our app is going to have a counter value as a dynamic variable. Now let's try to go to our widget tree, and now this is the static part. Let's try to change this. Now okay, I'll come again. So this one is a static part. Now we have to change it and make it one is dynamic, this one is dynamic. So again, on this text beside this there is a symbol. You have to click on it, and it should be a combined text, means first one will be counter, and the next one will not be 0, it will be a app state. So yeah, so we have this app state, and see, this is the counter value which we had created some time before. So we have to click on it, and we will make confirm. Okay, now you see this is the dynamic, so it is showing like that. Okay, now the main part of the application is how we have to increment it without writing a single line of code. Is you have to click on it, and on the right side you have to search for some action. So let's hover on it. Action, this one is the action. You have to add action. Okay, and what action you have to do? You have to update that variable. Now you have to search update. What we will do? Update. Okay, update state. Yeah, so update state, on click of tab, action is the update state, and what we have to update? This dynamic variable. And update means what we have to actually update is this variable, but what we have to do, we have to increment it. So this one is increment or decrement. by 1. 1 means by plus 1 value. Okay. Now let's come here and try to reload. See, the value is incrementing 2, 3, 4. Okay, and on decrement it is not happening anything. Now let's try to do the same thing for decrement. So it will be a revision for you how to create any actions on click of button. So you have to first click on that button, you have to click on actions and add action. In add action you have to update something, so click on update, and what we have to update, it should be a update state variable, this variable, and what we have to do, it will be increment or decrement. Now we have to decrement it, so I will do -1. I will come over here, I will do the reload. Okay, the counter is incrementing. Now the counter is also decrementing. See, okay, so we have completed this example of dynamic app creation using FlutterFlow. So this is a basic example how actions are performed on click of button, and how the dynamic app is created using FlutterFlow.